Do not forget to show hospitality to strangers, for by so doing some people have shown hospitality to angels without knowing it. Hebrews 13 verse 2. This simple verse, tucked away in the book of Hebrews, holds a powerful message for us today. It's a call to action, an invitation to live differently. In a world that often feels disconnected and divided, this verse reminds us of the importance of reaching out and making connections. It reminds us that even the smallest acts of kindness can have a profound impact. A smile, a helping hand, or a simple meal shared can change someone's day or even their life. Let's unpack this verse and discover the hidden power of hospitality. Hospitality is more than just opening our homes, it's about opening our hearts. Hospitality, in its purest form, is about welcoming the stranger, the outsider. It's about creating a space where everyone feels valued and loved. It's about extending grace and generosity to those who may not be able to repay us. True hospitality expects nothing in return. It is a selfless act of love. It's about seeing the image of God in every person we meet. When we welcome others, we are not just opening our doors, but also our hearts and minds. Imagine the ripple effect of such acts of kindness. One act of hospitality can inspire others to do the same, creating a chain of goodwill that can transform communities. In a world that often emphasizes differences, hospitality bridges gaps and builds understanding. It fosters a sense of belonging and unity. By practicing hospitality, we are not just following a biblical command, we are also enriching our own lives. We learn, grow, and become better versions of ourselves. So let us embrace this timeless invitation. Let us be the ones who open our doors, our hearts, and our lives to others. For in doing so, we may entertain angels without knowing it, and in the process, find a deeper sense of purpose and joy. To truly understand the weight of this verse, we need to travel back in time. In the ancient world, hospitality wasn't just a social nicety, it was a matter of survival. Travelers often journeyed long distances, facing dangers and uncertainties along the way. Finding shelter and sustenance was crucial. In this context, showing hospitality to a stranger wasn't just a kind gesture, it was a sacred duty. It was a way of honoring God and acknowledging our shared humanity. The Bible is filled with stories of hospitality. Abraham welcomed 3 strangers into his tent, not knowing they were angels. The Shunammite woman opened her home to the prophet Elisha, providing him with food and lodging. These stories teach us that hospitality is not about the grandeur of our homes or the extravagance of our meals. It's about the posture of our hearts. It's about being willing to open our doors and our lives to those in need. I remember a time when I was a young pastor in Texas. It was a period filled with learning and growth, both spiritually and personally. The community was tight-knit, and we all looked out for one another. A family in our church had fallen on hard times. They were a lovely family, always active in church activities, but life had thrown them a curveball. The father had lost his job unexpectedly, and they were facing the grim reality of eviction. The stress was palpable, and it weighed heavily on their hearts. One Sunday, after church, I felt a nudge from the Holy Spirit to invite them over for dinner. It was a sudden, strong feeling that I couldn't ignore. I hesitated for a moment, worried about having enough food and not knowing what to say. My mind raced with doubts. What if they felt uncomfortable? What if I couldn't provide the comfort they needed? But I pushed past my fear and extended the invitation. Sometimes, the smallest acts of kindness can make the biggest difference. That evening, as we shared a simple meal of spaghetti and meatballs, something magical happened. The atmosphere was warm and filled with laughter. I witnessed the transformative power of hospitality. The family's worries seemed to melt away, if only for a few hours. We talked, laughed, and shared stories. It was a reminder that sometimes all people need is a little kindness and a listening ear to feel valued and supported. That night, I realized that hospitality isn't just about providing food or shelter, it's about offering a piece of your heart to someone in need. It's about creating a space where people feel seen, heard, and loved. This experience taught me that the simplest gestures can have the most profound impact. It reinforced my belief in the power of community and the importance of being there for one another, especially during tough times. From that day forward, I made it a point to always listen to those gentle nudges from the Holy Spirit. They often lead us to moments of grace and connection that we might otherwise miss. As the family left that night, their spirit seemed lifted, and mine was too. It was a beautiful reminder that in giving, we often receive so much more in return. The food was secondary that night. It was the feeling of being seen, heard, and loved that made all the difference. The father shared his struggles, the mother her fears, and the children their dreams. We laughed together, we cried together, and we prayed together. That evening, a bond was formed. It wasn't about solving their problems. It was about offering them a safe haven in the midst of their storm. Hospitality doesn't always require a grand gesture. In fact, it's often the little things that make the biggest difference in our daily lives. Sometimes the smallest acts of kindness can have the biggest impact. A simple smile, a kind word, or a thoughtful gesture can change someone's entire day. A smile, a listening ear, a helping hand. These simple gestures can brighten someone's day and make them feel seen and valued. It's these moments of connection that remind us of our shared humanity. I think of the barista who remembers my name and order, making me feel like more than just another customer. It's a small act, but it makes me feel special and appreciated. Or the neighbor who brings in my trash cans on a rainy day, saving me from getting drenched. It's a simple act of kindness that shows they care. And then there's the stranger who holds the door open for me. A small gesture that makes my day just a little bit easier. These small acts of kindness may seem insignificant, but they have the power to uplift our spirits and remind us that we are not alone. They create a ripple effect, inspiring others to pay it forward. In a world that can often feel disconnected, these moments of kindness bring us closer together. They remind us that we are part of a community and that we have the power to make a difference in each other's lives, one small gesture at a time. Whether it's sharing a meal with a friend, offering a listening ear, or simply being there for someone in need, these small gestures create bonds that strengthen our relationships and build a sense of belonging. Even a heartfelt thank you note or a message of appreciation can go a long way in making someone feel valued and acknowledged. When we come together as a community, these small acts of kindness add up, creating a culture of compassion and support. It's in these moments that we see the true impact of our actions. So, let's not underestimate the power of small gestures. They may seem minor, but they have the potential to create big impacts in the lives of those around us. Remember, it's the little things that often make the biggest difference. Let's continue to spread kindness, one small gesture at a time, and watch as the world becomes a brighter, more connected place. In our fast-paced world, it's easy to get caught up in our own lives and forget the importance of connection. We rush from one thing to the next, rarely taking the time to truly engage with those around us. But hospitality invites us to slow down, to be present, to offer the gift of our undivided attention. It's about putting down our phones, turning off the television, and truly listening to what others have to say. When we choose to live hospitably, our actions have a ripple effect. Kindness begets kindness. Generosity inspires generosity. When we open our hearts to others, we create a more compassionate and welcoming world. I've seen this firsthand in my own life. The more I've sought to live out the message of Hebrews 13 verse 2, the more I've experienced the joy and fulfillment that comes from loving and serving others. Hospitality is not about perfection, it's about connection. It's not about having a spotless home or a gourmet meal. It's about opening our doors and our hearts to those around us. It's about creating a space where people feel safe, accepted, and loved. It's about recognizing that we are all on a journey, and we all need a little grace and kindness along the way. So, let us embrace the timeless invitation of Hebrews 13, verse 2. Let us be known for our hospitality, for our willingness to welcome the stranger, to extend a helping hand, to offer a listening ear. Let us be the hands and feet of Jesus, sharing his love and grace with a world in desperate need of it. For in showing hospitality to others, we may just encounter angels unaware.